that potentially included 5,000 free black men and 40,000 free coloreds, mixed race. After the full abolition of slavery in 1838, the lodges were open to all Jamaican men of any race. And we all would recall that on May 25th, 2017, Masons from around the world congregated in Jamaica to celebrate its 300 years of Freemasonry. In addition to this demographic history, we are all aware that the three strands of established Freemasonry in the Caribbean, the English, the Scottish, and the Irish, all followed the colonizing powers, which not only brought new immigrants to the region in search of sugar and other valuable commodities, but also they brought with them the naval and military establishments of Freemasonry as a region and as a global movement and phenomenon marched hand in hand with the colonizing power. In this case, the British, the Scottish, and the Irish. This was not only the case in the Caribbean region, but the colonizing powers established Freemasonry lodges in Europe, mostly Cyprus, Gibraltar, Malta. In other areas of colonial powers, Freemasonry lodges were established in Asia, India in particular, Africa, and North America, including Canada. It is necessary to keep this historical fact in mind, as you would be able to see that in all of these regions and territories, the unshackling of colonialism also meant that Freemason lodges asserted their independence and became Grand Lodges and cast aside the appendage of district Grand Lodges. I'm aware that the subject of the formation of a Grand Lodge of the Caribbean has been informally bounced around Scottish districts in this region, comprising the districts of Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and the Bahamas. There may have even been an idea of some of these districts possibly investigating the formation of a Grand Lodge in their own respective country. To my knowledge, there has not been any meaningful progress on the subject, certainly not in the Bahamas. I don't believe there would be great enthusiasm among the three current districts present in each of the countries previously mentioned that represents the English, Irish, and Scottish constitutions to pursue the formation of a Grand Lodge of the Caribbean. This in part would be due to our physical location. Logistically, the challenge that the districts experience visiting their individual Grand Lodges now would essentially remain. There would be numerous financial considerations that would also make the proposition undesirable. It is therefore my view that countries in the region wishing to pursue the formation of a Grand Lodge would be better served to seek support from districts representing the three Grand Lodges of England, Ireland, and Scotland in their respective countries to come together and agree in principle to form a Grand Lodge, appoint a working committee capable of highlighting the envisaged problems and formulate logistics for overcoming a proposal for a decision among all concerned. Perhaps one way of looking at the formation of a Grand Lodge of the Caribbean, if that's anyone's idea, would, if we were to proceed with a working, committee, would be for the three district English, Irish, Scottish to relinquish their direct ties to the Grand Lodges of England, Ireland, and Scotland, and become the United Grand Lodge of the Caribbean. In short, we would neither be English, Irish, or Scottish, but we will have morphed into a new creature to be known as the Grand Lodge of the Caribbean. I said earlier that this would result in some financial and logistical challenges, and not to mention constitutional considerations. But this is one of the items which a working party could consider. I draw, as an example, the Grand Lodge of Canada. The Canadian model is one that we might consider for further study that might be applicable in the Caribbean context. In the province of Ontario, as an example, there is a Grand Lodge of Canada. And similarly, there is a Grand Lodge of Nova Scotia and of Alberta, etc. The Canadians have agreed that these Grand Lodges would be independent and self-governing, while falling within and subscribing to the basic tenets of Freemasonry, which, in the instance of Canada, would probably have been derived from the English, Scottish, and Irish models. Perhaps we in the Caribbean might wish to consider this as an option. A Masonic Grand Lodge is the governing body that supervises it is time to form a Grand Lodge in Jamaica. This is a decision that should be made collectively by interested Masonic lodges and members in the country. Some factors to consider in determining the timing include the level of interest and support from existing lodges, the availability of experienced leaders to spearhead the establishment, and the readiness of the Masonic community to embrace a Grand Lodge structure. If there is a strong interest, commitment, and a clear vision for the establishment of a Grand Lodge in Jamaica, it may be the right time to move forward with the process, engaging with key stakeholders, conducting feasibility studies, and seeking guidance from experienced Masonic leaders can help in making an informed decision. Permit me to offer additional comments on rituals and traditions. Rituals and traditions play a central role in Freemasonry, providing a framework for the moral and spiritual development of its members. When establishing a Grand Lodge or any Masonic organization, it is essential to uphold and preserve these rituals and traditions, while also adopting them to the local context. Here are some key aspects to consider regarding rituals and traditions in Freemasonry. As you know, Freemasonry is known for its symbolic ceremonies and degrees that convey moral and philosophical lessons. These rituals are conducted in a solemn and dignified manner, often using symbols, allegories, and ancient texts. It is important to maintain the integrity and the authenticity of these ceremonies while ensuring that they resonate with the culture and social context of Jamaica. Freemasonry has a set of fundamental principles and landmarks that define the essence of the craft. These landmarks include belief in a supreme being, the use of rituals and symbols, the obligations of secrecy, and the importance of brotherly love and charity. When establishing a Grand Lodge, it is crucial to adhere to these landmarks, which also reflecting the unique characteristics of the Jamaican Masonic community. Symbols play a significant role in Masonic rituals, representing moral concepts, virtues, and philosophical ideas. The use of symbols such as the square and compass, the apron and the trowel, and the working tools of the craft are integral to Masonic ceremonies. Understanding the symbolic meanings behind these elements and incorporating them into the rituals is essential for maintaining the rich tradition of Freemasonry. Each Masonic jurisdiction and Grand Lodge may have its own specific practices, customs, and traditions that have been passed down through generations. These may include opening and closing rituals, lodge etiquette, ceremonial regalia, and festive board customs. When establishing a Grand Lodge, it is important to respect and preserve these practices while also considering opportunities for innovation and evolution. Masonic rituals and traditions are not static, but evolved over time to remain relevant and meaningful to members, providing education and training on the history, symbolism, and significance of Masonic rituals can help new members understand and appreciate the traditions of the craft. It is essential to ensure continuity in the transmission of Masonic knowledge and practices to future generations of Masons. By honoring and upholding the rituals and traditions of Freemasonry, while adapting them to the local context, a Grand Lodge can create a meaningful and enriching Masonic experience for its members in Jamaica. Maintaining the timeless principles of the craft while embracing culture, diversity, and innovation can help foster a stronger and vibrant Masonic community. I also wish to look at structure and governance. Structure and governance are essential aspects of any organization, including a Grand Lodge in Freemasonry. Establishing a clear organizational structure and governance framework helps to ensure the smooth functioning, accountability, and effectiveness of the Grand Lodge. Here are some key considerations to expand on structure and governance in the context of the Grand Lodge. It would be necessary to define the hierarchy and relationships within the Grand Lodge, including the roles and responsibility of key officers, such as the Grand Master, Deputy Grand Master, Grand Wardens, Grand Secretary, and other administrative positions. Establishing a clear organizational chart helps clarify decision-making processes and lines of authority. We all appreciate that the development of bylaws and a constitution that outlines the rules in the working committee. The charter and warrant. Obtain a charter or warrant from an existing recognized Grand Lodge. As the District Grand Lodge of Jamaica is a Scottish, under the Scottish Constitution, that recognition would come from the Grand Lodge of Scotland. And if the English and Irish were to be a part of that, I'm sure the same would apply from that side. And of course, you get into the installation of the Grand Lodge, and after the installation, you then have the communication and recognition. The Grand Lodge would then notify Grand Lodges about their establishment and seek to get recognition from Grand Lodges in different territories. Remember that each jurisdiction may have specific requirements. So again, consult with experienced Masons and legal advisors during the process. Brethren from Marston, brethren, I have a bit more information, but I will bring my contribution here to an end. But as I close, I want to make two observations. The first is that Freemasonry should not be static, but should move with the times and in each era. We find ourselves with different historical and political and social demands. The growth of Freemasonry in the Caribbean has had a long history, but we have to be conscious of the times in which we live. Nearly all of the countries in the Caribbean region have emerged from a colonial past and have established a firm framework of independence and self-governance. Here is the question: should we not consider the same as it applies to Freemasonry? Just a thought. My second closing point is that as a region, we have many shared institutions in so many areas: education, health, law enforcement, religion, etc. We have the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, which is a political and governance structure that daily interacts with all of the countries of the region, and in which we all have a shared voice. Perhaps the time has come to extend this overarching principle of Caribbean unity and common identity into the affairs of Freemasonry. The first step must be taken. I have outlined about some of the restraints and some of the hesitance in moving boldly into the creation of a Grand Lodge. But on the other hand, I hope that I have outlined the real possibilities that exist and given you food for thought as we consider this very important question that is so important to the growth and development of Freemasonry in the Caribbean region. I thank you.